Okay, now we've got our new message hub. We're going to head over to our client now and configure this in there. So what we'll do, we'll open up the message service that we already have inside our client. And what we're going to do inside here is we're going to add our hub connection for our messages. So what we'll do, we'll just say hub URL equals environment, and we'll specify the hub URL. And then we'll say private hub connection equals, or assign it the type of hub connection. And then what we'll do, just at the top here, what we'll do is we'll say create hub connection, and we're going to take in our user as type of user, and what we're also going to do is take in the other username as a type of string. And what we'll do, we'll say this.hub connection equals new hub connection builder, just as we did before, and we'll say with URL, and we'll say this.hub URL plus, and we'll say message, and then in here we want to pass up the other username as a query string with the key of user. So what we'll do after this, we'll specify a question mark, then we'll say user, and then we'll say equals, and then we can say plus and other username. And then inside here, what we can do is once again get the access token factory and set this to our user.token. And under this, we'll say with automatic reconnect, so the client can try and reconnect themselves, and then we'll say build. And then once again, once we've created our hub connection, we're going to need to start it. So we'll say this.hub connection.start, and we'll just catch any error. And if we do have an error, we'll just say console.log and pass in the error. And then underneath this, we'll create a method to stop the hub connection. And we'll say this.hub connection.stop. Now what we want to do here is deal with what happens when we receive the messages when we connect to this hub. So what we'll do is we'll create an observable for this, and we'll say private message thread source, and we're going to say this is a new behavior subject once again, and this is going to store our message array, and we'll initialize this just to an empty array. So we'll need to bring in behavior subject, so make sure you have this inside from RxJS. And then what we'll do is we'll create a message thread property, give it the dollar to signify this is an observable, and we'll say this.message thread source as observable. And then what we can do inside our create hub connection, what we'll do is we'll say this.hub connection on, and we need to target our receive message thread. Obviously this needs to be exactly the same as what we've called this in our message hub. So double check what you've called this, and in the onConnected method, this is what we're looking for, where we're sending the message thread to the users. So inside here we'll say receive message thread, and from here we'll get our messages, and then we'll say this.message thread source.next, and we'll pass in the messages. So what we need to take a look at next is what we do inside our components here, because we're going to need to create this connection and receive the messages, and we're also going to need to deal with stopping the connection when the user moves away from the member detail component as well. And we'll take a look at that next.